Quarantine Network friends. Cassandra Renee here, popping in to do your midday mindset. So we've got about a half an hour here to kind of touch base and see what's going on in your day, in your life right now, anything that you want to change, and kind of just give you the extra little motivation that we can all use, because right around now is the time, especially on the East Coast, about 2 o'clock. It's where you start to kind of get your midday slump, right? Well, I'm here to get you out of that and remind you that you have control over everything that is going on in your life, that you can control how you respond and pick yourself back up and be more productive. Now, I know most of us are looking at this going, what else is there to be productive on? I'm staying at home, I'm not working, I don't have anything going on. Well, I want to know what you guys are up to as far as like crafts, as far as projects, as far as ramping up new businesses, because if you are doing those things, I want to help you with that. And if you're not doing those things, I want to help you find something to occupy your time productively so that we can come out of this whole thing, whenever that may be, stronger, better, happier, and more loving. So, if you haven't checked it out, my recorded video is over here from this morning's Rise and Shine. So hi guys, I love that you guys are popping on. Message on the comments right now. I want to know who you are and where you're watching from. And while you are doing that, I'm going to get started with a couple of things that can help shift your mindset. Like puppies! Puppies can help shift your mind. Oh, you didn't know I was recording, did you? She hates being on camera. Hates it. Like, she just knows, even though you'd think it's just a laptop. This is Dahlia, and she is such a lover, but she has been loving, oh my gosh, this whole time of being home. She's having a hard time learning when is work time and when is me time. So puppies help make everything better. In fact, I know there's been a couple of companies out there who bring in puppies. I think they're from rescue organizations, but they bring in puppies to workplaces just to surprise the workers and just kind of give a midday break. So whoever the bosses are of those businesses who are letting that happen, you're amazing. Go find those companies. Go work for those companies. So I talked earlier, and I start off all my morning Rise and Shines with a meditation. And I also, by the way, I want to know your feedback, because so many people log on and then we start meditating and then they log off. So I'm like, okay, do you not want me to meditate anymore? I meditate beforehand anyway. It's a great way to get you self-primed for the day, but it's not just the only time to meditate. You can meditate anytime you're faced with a difficult decision, stress, you're just kind of taking a break at work. Meditating can be as easy as, just 5 minutes, just a 5-minute break, or it can be like a 20-minute thing. I started a new meditation personally, and I normally meditate for about 15 minutes in the morning. And since I started this new one, I'm building my way up, and I am definitely needing way more time. I'm loving it. I want to stay in that meditation for at least a half an hour. Anywho, thank you, Stephen. Yeah, I thought I normally pop it up, and I was like, you know what, let me try to put it in a bow. Oh, I can't really. This whole screen mirror thing is confusing for me. This side. There we go. There we go. Kind of. Whatever. So, yep, you compliment me, and now I go and I done goof it up. Now I need a real mirror. Okay, well, whatever. We'll deal with it. Do you want to fix my hair? You're not being helpful. All right, so getting into where I was headed with that. No puppy down. I want to share something. It's an excerpt from You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Jen Sincero. Oh my goodness, there we go. Okay. She wrote a couple of different books, and I've read the one You Are a Badass at Making Money. I have not read the one You Are a Badass. They are a fun and entertaining read, and I highly encourage everybody to pick those books up. She was actually personally mentored by my personal mentor, who also wrote a book that just was released earlier this month called The Audacity to Be Queen. Highly recommend that. And anywho, so one of the excerpts from You Are a Badass says that aside from being one of the most powerful tools in our consciousness raising toolbox, meditation is a much needed respite from the madness and will help us from becoming a bunch of scatterbrained ding-dongs as we zoom around our brave and extremely exciting new world. Is that not what we are on the verge of right now? Finding a brave, new, exciting world. Well, it might not be that exciting right now, but we are working towards it. Man, what did I do? I royally messed this thing up, didn't I? Thanks, Stephen. All right. Taking it down, fixing this once and for all because it's going to bug me. So there were some fun things in that quote from her book. And part of the reason I wanted to bring that up is because, as I was saying, meditation isn't just for the mornings, and it isn't just for, certain types of people. There's certain kinds of meditation. There's tons of different kinds of meditation, and it's just a matter of finding the right one for you. So sometimes it's nice to just, in your mid-afternoon, taking a break, you need to get re-energized. Meditating is a great way to do that. Definitely sit up for this one. Some meditations you can lay down and meditate, but you're much more likely to fall asleep. So if you are needing a recharge in the middle of your day, laying down, not a possibility, not going to happen. So I'm not going to walk you through a meditation right now, but I encourage you to look up some of the previous videos and take a look and find a meditation technique that works for you. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy, reach out, DM me, comment on the video, and we'll work on different techniques that work for you. There's ways to build up into them. But find something that works for you to ground yourself, recenter yourself. If you watched my video yesterday, I was talking about how we have a finite amount of willpower, right? We wake up in the morning, we start our day, and our willpower is up here. And then we have to keep making decisions. What am I going to have for breakfast? What am I going to wear today? How am I going to answer this text message? What am I going to say with this? What am I going to do for the day? Da, 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 da. And as the day goes on, each time we make a decision, our willpower is depleting. And that's why come the end of the day, you're a little bit testy. You get home, you just want to relax. You might be hangry. You might not be as pleasant. You might reach for the bag of cookies or the ice cream instead of the salad or the healthy meal, whatever it is. That's why we tend to make more poor choices later in the day because our willpower is just like, we're done. Screw it, whatever. I'll take care of this tomorrow. And then we procrastinate. But what can help you to avoid that and to help recharge your willpower is to take a bit of a time out in the middle of your day or as needed, and just be still, even if it's just for 5 minutes, and find a grounding, meditating exercise. Especially when things are going chaotic, it's okay, and people might look at you weird, and that's fine, but it's okay to, in the middle of all the chaos, just be like, you know what, excuse me for just a minute. Go to a separate room, pause, breathe. And that's the basis of meditation, is just breathing. So even if you're not meditating, if you just focus on your breath. And in a previous video, I taught you a different kind of breathing technique. It's technically called Nadi Shodhyanama Pranayama. I mispronounce it all the time. But basically, it's a way of breathing alternately through your nostrils that physically calms your body down. That's one technique. Or you can just sit somewhere in a quiet room, eyes closed, and just listen to your breathing, taking deeper inhales, counting down. Whatever works for you. But it's a really good tool to use in the middle of your day, during chaos, during an argument. I mean, have you ever seen somebody, or maybe been that person when you're arguing with somebody, you're in a really heated argument, and you're just like, you're naturally telling yourself, chill the frick out before you say this thing, because you're probably going to regret it, and you're not saying it from a place of love. You're saying it from a place of, oh, I want to wring your neck. So you automatically do that. Your body is intuitively saying, wait, center yourself before you make a mistake. So it's great. It's a great tool to use and to do as needed to kind of recharge. Now, of course, the longer you do it, the more centered, more recharged you will be. So that's one thing I wanted to get through with your midday mindset. By the way, for those of you just logging on, I'm Cassandra Renee. Feel free to type in, let me know where you're tuning in from and what kind of things are going on in your day that I can help you with, because I am here for you. While you were typing those in, something else that came to my mind that I wanted to touch on is one of my oracle cards from this morning. Hold the excuses, especially now during quarantine, lockdown. You can say during normal life, I'm too busy, I can't, and you can make up all kinds of excuses. First off, we should stop making excuses and instead maybe make, I love lists, and there's a lot of controversy on whether a list, a to-do list is actually the right thing. But since I love lists, you have to know yourself. If you have a to-do list that's a mile long or like a CVS receipt long, that's too long and it's never going to get done. But if you have a short to-do list, you can have your whole ever-growing list of things you need to do and check that at night or the beginning of your day. Or I'm sorry. Check that at night and take the top 3 things that need to get done and only focus on those for the next day. So then the next morning comes along, you're like, all right, these are my top things. That way you can knock them out, not be overwhelmed with the whole list of things. And also you can probably be way more productive. And you're like, crap, I just, hammered through those 3 things like nothing. Let me knock some other things off the list, or let me go and do whatever I feel like doing right now, because you've opened up that time. Another key thing, and I mentioned it in a comment to one of the viewers that was on yesterday for her question, and it was about dealing with overwhelm. And it's best, as much as you don't want to do it, especially when you're starting your day off so happy and positive and yay, then to do the thing that you least want to do first. You're like, wait a second, I just primed myself up. I'm good. Why would I? Because you want to knock it out of the way. So whatever is the least enjoyable thing that you want to do, get your morning routine, get yourself primed, and then jump into that, because it's going to free up the rest of your day and you can stop stressing about it. The more you prolong something, the more you worry about it, the more energy you give it to bring you down, to avoid it, to be overwhelmed, to panic. And let's be real, most of the time, whatever it is that we're worrying about and we're fearing doesn't actually come to fruition anyway. But we build it up so much in our minds that we're just like, we're dreading, and a million different possibilities can happen. Can a million different things happen? No, only one can happen. So you're running through your mind with a million different things that could happen. Only one of them is going to happen. And it's probably not even going to be as bad or as difficult or as strenuous as you thought it was going to be. But you made it, and you gave your personal power away and fed that by your worry and your postponement and all the excuses you made not to do it. So that's part of why you want to just jump in and get yourself primed. Even if you have to take a quick little meditation beforehand and then jump into it, it's your way of diving into that task and avoiding overwhelm, because you're not questioning all the possibilities about it and you're knocking it out. Plus, in yesterday's video, I also gave advice about a 2-minute timer decision. I'm not going to go into that. You can go watch that video. But what you can do with that is, if you're whatever the thing is that you're avoiding, that you're pushing off, that you're making all the excuses about not to do, if you just jump in and do it already. I mean, I was really kind of annoyed with myself when I realized I was taking this slogan into heart and how annoyingly effective it is for me personally. And it's Nike's slogan, just do it. I spent most of my life trying to avoid buying into anything commercial, anything kitschy. I was very punk rock and DIY and got to take the hard way, because that means I earned it and I did it myself. So the fact that I'm actually living my life through a commercialized slogan, it took some adjustment on my part to realize, oh, okay, am I really okay with this? But it doesn't matter, because the fact is it freaking works for me. And, oh, Stephen, that is so sweet. Stephen writes in, he's here in Vista, and my uplifting spirit has been helping you out. I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you. And that just fuels me to want to keep showing up and do what I do for you. So thank you. If you want to get specific on what it is you're having help with, you can either DM me privately or you can message in here. Thank you. But yeah, so Nike's slogan, just do it. Really, if it can be done quickly, just freaking do it. And if you don't want to do it, just freaking do it, because then it'll be done. It's the Band-Aid ripping off. It's opening the doors, especially for those of you who have businesses you want to start or projects you want to start or people you want to ask out. If you don't just do it, you might never do it. And you're going to sell yourself on all the reasons not to, and all the reasons you're not good enough and you're not worthy enough, right? If you watched my video earlier this morning, we're talking about all the natter and all the conditioning, all the crap that we talk to ourselves that says you're not good enough, you can't do this, you're not smart enough, wait until you're prepared a little bit more, wait until this, but no, just freaking do it. And there's a lot of schools on thought about this. I think it's it's not Elena Cardone, it's one of the other powerhouse wives. She's got the 3, 2, 1, go. So there's tons of ways that you can think about it. Whatever works best for you. The just do it. I actually sometimes have that on a Post-it note next to my workstation, wherever it is I'm working, and I'll just write it down, just do it. And I'll usually write down what Marie Forleo calls onesie, the one thing that has to get done. And so I've got that, and then I've got just do it. So that anytime I decide to drift off and whatever, and I go to check my phone, guess what? That Post-it note is right next to my phone. And that has conditioned me to leave the phone and just freaking do this. You can reward yourself later. That whole delayed gratification works great when you're trying to pursue a business. Other areas of your life, you need to learn when to use it, because it doesn't apply to the whole aspect of life. You need to just enjoy life as it is now. And here's the cool thing. When you are applying the just do it concept and you're holding the excuses and you're just diving in and doing it, the act of being productive is already going to propel you forward, right? Kinetic energy. It's the motion builds up, and what is it? The law of, somebody help me out here. The law of motion says that an object in motion will continue on in perpetual motion until stopped by an outside opposing force, right? So just like positive energy, it can keep going and it can perpetuate. You just got to get it started. You got to rev up those engines. And if you watched my first video, revving up your engine, what happens? You look at the RPMs, rise, pee, meditate. That's how you start your day. That's how you get this perpetual energy, this positivity, this productivity. That's how you get it in motion. If you guys have been following my videos, you see how they're all starting to build on each other. That's what I do. I have spent, I'm 34 and I am still learning. You're an idiot if you think that you learn something and you're done and you're good. No, we are constantly being given lessons, and this pandemic we're in, prime example of that on a global scale. But I learned most of this stuff over the course of about 33 years. I'm still constantly learning new techniques. I still have mentors that I pay for, that I seek out, and others that I don't pay for yet. But I'm learning and getting a lot of guidance from, and that is how you maintain that kinetic energy. You keep feeding that fire and you keep growing. And the more productive you are, whether it's things you enjoy, whether it's things you have to do, you'll find a way, even the things you don't want to do, you'll find a way to enjoy doing those, because you know you've got your end goal in sight. I talked about before yesterday, holding on to the dream, holding on to that big picture. I gave insights, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it, about the dream jar, the vision board, all these things that can help you just be in a higher vibration. and be happier, be healthier. When are you happiest? When things are going your way. And how are things going to go your way? When you take actionable steps to make them happen. How does that happen and stay reinforced and stay motivated? By taking these extra little tiny tidbits of reinforcement and reminders subconsciously and consciously to the fact that it just becomes second nature. In my comment to Erica yesterday on the video, I talked about how scientifically, I don't know the exact numbers, well, I do, but I don't remember them. But it takes approximately a half an hour, somewhere about 20, it's between 20 and 35 minutes, I think, for you to get into the state of flow for especially something you don't feel like doing. And the state of flow, for those of you guys who aren't familiar, is when you are just rock and rolling, time is flying by, you're not even paying attention, and just you're jamming out. So whatever your favorite thing is to do, you probably end up being in a state of flow with that. If, like the runner's high, or, you're playing a sport and you're just like zoned out, you're playing a video game and you are in the zone, you are kicking ass. You are reading a really good book and you're just like, oh my gosh, turn the page. Oh, were you talking to me? Like, when you're really in the state of flow and you're productive and you are just jamming away and doing things and making the things happen, and you're just like, holy crap, it's that time already? That's the state of flow. And I got so in the state of flow, talking about the state of flow, I forgot what I was talking about prior to the state of flow. Give me a second. Oh yeah, so science has shown that it takes anywhere between like 20 to 35 minutes to get into that state, especially when you don't want to do something. You open a book that you really want to read, but it takes a few pages to get into it, unless that author is amazing. So when you are looking at this Post-it note of the task you have to do and just do it, freaking sucks. But you jump into it, you do it, and then reward yourself. Give yourself a break. Set a timer for like 45 minutes, which means you'll have been in the state of flow for at least 10 minutes. And 9 times out of 10, when that timer goes off, you'll swipe ignore and you'll keep working because you finally forced yourself to get into it. And it becomes second nature as you build up all these little practices. It's not going to happen overnight. They are going to make a big difference right away in most cases, but it's not going to become a habit. Habits typically take about 6 weeks of repeatedly consciously acting on something for it to then become unconscious and routine. So I actually offer, and if you guys want it, reach out to me. It's totally free. A habit tracker. It's just a quick little form that I put together. So if you want one, awesome. If you have your own sense, bullet journal or law of attraction planner or any kind of thing like that you have that works for you, awesome. If not, you can simply just take a big piece of paper and write out a calendar, make it 6 weeks, and go ahead and start checking things off on that. And I literally mean checking, right? Whatever it is, the habit that you want to get into, write it there and check. There is a famous thing, Jerry Seinfeld, the comedian, he actually he's been interviewed and they're like, how did you get so successful? And he said, I challenged myself. I got one of those big 12-month calendars, put it on the wall and a big red marker. And I said, okay, I have to make a check mark in this box every single day. And my goal, my one goal is that I have to write at least one joke every single day for a year. And when I write at least one joke, I can put a check mark in that box. And we as humans, especially those of you who are like OCD and very organized and love gratification, we thrive on this. And here's the science behind this. The goal, and this is according to Jerry, which has been validated over a bunch of studies, the goal starts out with writing one joke a day, or whatever that task is, doing it one, whatever that habit is you want to build. One a day, right? Check, did it. Check, did it. Well, after seeing a string of check marks, the goal no longer becomes to do the thing. The goal then morphs to keep that chain of check marks going. And it's going to irritate the crap out of you if you go one day without doing it and then the next day you do it and you see that gap of a check mark there. Especially if you're OCD like me, it sucks. Now you can lie to yourself and go and check it off, but you're going to know that you lied to yourself. And what good is lying to yourself? Does that make you more productive? Absolutely not. Does that make you more integral? Does it bring you more integrity? Absolutely not. And when it comes down to it, if you can't build a house on a faulty foundation because it's not going to last. Something's going to happen and it's going to crumble down. And I so fear for Las Vegas because of the way buildings are throwing up so much. Thank goodness we don't get earthquakes here, because if we do, there's going to be a lot of shoddy building that's going to show. Side note, if you're in Vegas, you want to buy a house, I don't recommend buying new for longevity's sake. FYI. So it's about building these habits, and that's part of why I am here showing up. It's partially A, training for me to get in the habit of constantly showing up, but B, training for you to tune in and get your daily dose of happy and know what you can do to keep it going. I just realized I'm in the state of flow and I'm over my time. So thank you guys so much for joining me here on your Midday Mindset. Any further questions, anything you want assistance with, I hope I've been helpful. If so, let me know. If not, let me know. And reach out with any, you can DM me for any questions or assistance you would like. So that's my time. I will see you again maybe sometime this weekend. I might pop on, but definitely Monday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for your Rise and Shine. And as always, guys, cough into your elbow, wash your hands, and stay home. Love you.